Hi, 8th grade Latin 2. This is your tutorial on about the language 1 for stage 22, the perfect active participles. I'm glad to see you, and good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever and whenever you're watching this. I hope you guys are great. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about the perfect active participles. We learned in stage 22 before we went on spring break. We learned about this, and what I told you was essentially don't think of them as a grammatical topic or a syntactical topic. Think of it as purely just a vocabulary issue. These are odd, these are weird. We know perfect passive participles, and they look like it, don't they? But they're special and they're, like I said, they're weird. And so we're just going to translate them. We're just going to learn them as vocabulary words. So remember, I taught you replicas, REPLICAS, and I gave them to you on the board. But here they are in case you don't have your notes or you don't have them in your notes. So let's go through these, and you can pause and rewind if you need. But I've highlighted the gress root in all of these because gress basically just means move. And so regressus means having returned, so having moved back. Agressus, having left, so having moved or x, having moved out. Progressus, having set out, having proceeded, having moved forward. So gress, move, and then pro, forth. There is a second P that I want you guys to know. Precatus means having prayed or having prayed to. Locutus, having spoken or having said. Ingressus, there's your gress root again, so having moved in. So having entered is a good translation for ingressus. Conspicatus, so we know inspicio, respicio, specto, spectare, etc. And here is conspicatus, having caught sight of, having seen, having noticed. Conatus is another C, having attempted, having tried. Amplexus, having embraced. And secutus, having followed. So these are the vocabulary words that I want you to know, and we're going to call them perfect active participles, and they all mean something like having blanked, having returned, having left, having advanced, having set out, having prayed, prayed to, having spoken, having entered, having caught sight of, having tried, having embraced, having followed. On in your book, this is page 26, and it's basically what it says here. It says, look, we already know perfect passive participles, right? Honoratus, having been honored. And now you're learning about these words that look like them. They look like perfect passive participles, but they mean especially having entered, not having been or having been prayed to here, but having prayed. So perfect active participles. Just like the other participles, they're adjectives, so their end changes depending on who you're talking about or what you're talking about. So the boy having caught sight of the soldiers, so conspicatus, or here pueri, the boys having caught sight of the soldiers, doesn't change the translation, but the ending has to match because we have learned about how nouns, pueri, and adjectives, conspicati, participles, have to agree. So you have some example sentences here to work on, and those are in the buzz quiz that I want you guys to do. So now that you've learned this, and maybe you can watch this again, it's here for you whenever you need it. I want you to head on over to Buzz and take the perfect active participles about the language buzz quiz.